Hey everybody, just got down here and got the lights turned on, and I was wondering if we were going to ever get to see any crayfish out and about first thing in the morning. A lot of times when I would come down and turn the lights on, we'd see the crayfish out on the rocks, or climbing around on the woodwork or something, and I'm down to only a couple crayfish left in the tank, so we just don't see them that often anymore. So when I turned the lights on this morning, I looked over and saw movement up in the plants, and I cannot believe I was able to run out of the room, grab my camera, and get back here and have it still up there. So that was pretty cool. It's a good indication that when my plants get all chewed up, the ones that are floating, it's not always just the tilapia and the other fish that are in there. I know the crayfish devour plants. They are damaging to plants both in the sense that they'll eat them, but they also dig them up and they root in the gravel and uproot them and turn them loose around, get them floating around in the tank. I've never seen them actually on free-floating plants before. I would imagine that it could have just climbed up this temple plant to the right here and kind of grabbed on. But it's entirely possible that it could have swam its way up to the top and got a hold of it once it was up there. And now it's probably just going to make its way back into the little cavities underneath of that piece of wood, and that's where it'll spend the day. See if we can get down here and get a little look up at it without seeing too much reflection in the glass. Absolutely fascinating little creatures. I've always enjoyed having crayfish in my tanks. They definitely limit what else you can put in the tank. As I said, with plants, if you got plants in the tank, you can expect them to get brutalized, and small fish will get killed and eaten. The crayfish will fight amongst themselves and kill and eat each other. So they definitely change the dynamic of a tank once you've got crayfish in it. But they really are interesting little animals. They're fun to watch. And when you've got a group of them in the tank, they don't behave like a group. They all behave like, competing individuals. But when you have several of them in the tank, it's practically a soap opera to actually watch the interactions between them and their little territories and little disputes. And again, it's just an interesting animal to have in your fish tank. Really surprised he's spending so much time out and about like this. Normally once the lights come on, they just sort of make their way to the bottom and crawl into a cave, and that's the last we see of them until food comes out again. So perhaps the floating plant offering a little shelter from the bright light directly overhead gives it more of a sense of security. I know that I have been seeing a lot more of the fish out and about swimming around. Of course, as I say that now, the tank looks empty. Everybody's down and hiding, but that is only because the lights just came on. I'm standing right here. Give it half an hour, and you will see the fish out swimming about. I said crayfish because I just happened to notice that one hiding right there in that piece of wood. That's where that one lives. I always see that one in there. So I thought that one was this one. But apparently it is not. It is a different one. So we get two of them right here in this camera shot. So we've got at least that many left in the tank. And let me see down here. Don't see the one sticking his face out. There's a cave down here right where that rosy side dace is. And there's almost always a crayfish sticking its face out of there. So it's entirely possible that that one came out, went across that rock, climbed right up the temple plant, and now we're seeing it over here. So that's probably the one that lives in that little cave right there. So as I was saying, at the moment we're not getting to see it because everybody's kind of freaked out from the sun coming up instantaneously. But now that I've got some floating plants going on in the tank, I'm seeing a lot more of the fish out and about swimming around, and they even seem to interact with the plants. The minnows will get up into the leaves of the floating plant and swim around in it as though they're sheltering in it. So I've been talking not long ago about possibly putting some ditherfish in this tank, although I don't know what you would use as ditherfish for minnows. The minnows should be the ditherfish. And if they're hiding, what do you put in the tank to get them to come out? And apparently the answer is floating plants. So that crayfish is going right back up into him. That's kind of cool that that's where it's going to spend some time. Let's see if we can open the lid, have a look in here. You can see it in there, but it's kind of hiding. Not sure what it's actually doing. I forgot I had turned the forward light fixture on yesterday, and that's why it's so bright in the tank right now. Let's go ahead and get that turned off, because I actually am getting ready to get out of here for the day. So that's what the tank normally looks like. So I'm going to leave you with that visual right there of the crayfish climbing around in the plants. That's pretty cool. Well, of course, as I said, he's probably going to drop out of them and fall to the bottom of the tank. But there you go. Make sure you're subscribed. That way you won't miss anything. Anytime I see anything interesting like this, I always grab the camera and try to get it on video so we all get to enjoy it. And if you're subscribed, you won't miss any of that or anything else I've got coming up. So don't forget, this one's my 125-gallon native tank. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. I'll see you real soon in the next one.